Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I'd really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you could see it and you could purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. Today we are discussing the new for 2019 Ressence Type 1 Slim. 42mm in diameter and lugless in grade 5 titanium. The watch is feather light on the wrist as it consists almost entirely of that grade 5 titanium and sapphire. Somewhere between a cushion case and a tonneau, the watch is easy to wear on a 16cm circumference wrist, and Ressence under-promises and over-delivers. Claiming an 11mm thick case, they in fact delivered a 10.9mm thick case, which I appreciate immensely. From lug to lug, if we can describe it that way, because the watch scarcely has any lugs, it's 46mm, making it exceptionally wearable on a small wrist with its combination of lugless profile and feather-light mass. The spacing between the lugs, although exotic at first glance, is in fact conventional 20mm, so 20mm straps are what you would fit if you wanted to accessorize. Now the watch, as I feature it here, includes an unusual ostrich strap fitted from the factory. This is a Ressence factory piece. Contrasting stitch binding, a bit of a sheer construction showing the layers, and you'll appreciate that with the exception of the stitching to bind to the lugs, this is a bonded strap, so there are no stitch lines to mar the material. Handsome in a sort of medium brown, you can see that on the underside it's a natural black calfskin. The buckle itself is remarkably elaborate. Let's get a little bit closer. It's in grade 5 titanium, just like the case, and you can see there is a tiny Ressence hand logo in the pin of the buckle. Not only that, but there's a little bit of a dog leg kink in the pin, and then there is a revetment inside the buckle so that the pin sits flush. Did they think of everything? Yep, it also has a counterweighted clevis style architecture, similar to the gear you would find on the jackets of early aviators. The timepiece, of course, in grade 5 titanium as opposed to grade 2. This has its advantages. First, grade 5 can be polished. Second, grade 5 is a lot harder, whereas standard grade 2 is prone to scratching and scuffing. Grade 5 is actually a little bit harder on its surface than conventional steel, so that high polish is going to hold its shine over time. The watch is almost entirely dial. As you can see, the sapphire extends almost to the very lip of the case. And the case is remarkably nuanced with compound curvature all over its surface. The dial is a regulator. You have separate seconds, minutes, and hours, and then you have a day of the week indication. And what I'll do is I'll pull out the caseback setting lever, which was an innovation introduced about 2 years ago on the Ressence Squared collection, the Type 1 Squared. What I love about this watch is that it's fairly intuitive once you get the hang of it. Now, let's take a look. This is 10 o'clock. And I can tell you specifically that this is 10 a.m. on a Wednesday. How do I know that? Well, you can see the minutes hand is at the index at 60, the hour hand is at 10, and then if you look at the day of the week indicator, it moves in a clockwise direction. So you have Saturday and Sunday, the open orange arcs, and then you have arc 1 for Monday, arc 2 for Tuesday, and arc 3 for Wednesday. And you can see that that hand is in the first half of the arc, so you know that you're looking at 10 a.m. or 10 in the morning on a Wednesday. Of course, the watch is a absolute freak show of movement and action. It is the Ressence Orbital Convex System, so not just a regulator with the hands separate for the different indications of the hours, but it also allows everything to rotate even as they rotate relative to each other. Now what I love is that the watch is robustly loomed, so it will be spectacular in the dark. On the reverse side, you can see that it's possible to both wind and set the watch using the caseback. There is no crown. You don't necessarily have to wind the watch, however, because it does have an automatic base movement. The base movement is a ETA 2892A2, or the higher grade of the two ETA standard automatics. It beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour, and it replaced this year the former 2824 base, which was a millimeter thicker. So the Ressence watches with a higher grade ETA movement, now thinner in profile, sitting lower on the wrist. I should mention that whereas the watch was previously rated at 36 hours of power reserve with the 38-hour power reserve 2824, the watch is still rated by Ressence at 36 hours, but as the ETA 2892 has a 42-hour power reserve rather than 38, I believe in real life you're going to get closer to 40 hours of power reserve, even with the relatively power-intensive orbital convex system. Now, I should mention there are two movements in this watch, one of which is manufacture. The 2892 is by ETA, though regulated by Ressence in Switzerland. The Ressence Orbital Convex System dial is constructed of 107 pieces with 15 jewels, so it is a freestanding movement atop a movement and manufacture watchmaking in its own right. So you're not just getting the ETA in high grade, you are getting all of the original invention and craft art of a manufacture movement on top of the ETA base. The one thing the watch is not is water resistance, as it has a 1 ATM rating, or basic exposure to drizzle or perhaps a splash while washing one's hands. Get the Type 5 if you want a Ressence that can go swimming. You could see and purchase this Ressence Type 1 Slim on the watch box. And we're back with the Ressence Type 1 Slim, as you can see, fully loomed by night. Very impressive, right down to the seconds and the day of the week indicator.